Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me again is lovely two ladies, Morganne Rayne Adept, visionary spiritual guide, ceremonialist and artist, and Alisha Ann Kingrey, empath on mission to help other empaths to achieve financial independence. Hello, two lovely ladies.
Hello, lovely lady.
Hello from the Pacific Northwest on a very beautiful summer morning.
What's the
Brilliant.
temperature there today? We are blistering hot over here.
Oh, we're at 64 degrees currently.
Wow.
Excuse me. Let me mute myself.
I think we're about 94 degrees currently. Could be 104. I don't know. Welcome to this side of the world.
We have a lot of pollen out there, so it's affecting me. So I'll try to.
Oh my gosh, before we get started, I have to tell you guys about my new products that I found. I told you I do not wash my hair. I haven't washed my hair with shampoo in, I can't tell you when. I've been doing the baking soda rinse followed with the apple cider vinegar rinse for the longest time. However, the baking soda rinse is just not doing anything for me here. My hair is still just not clean, put it that way. So I went to the natural store. There's a little old Turkish man here in town that has a wall full of honey and a wall full of oils and herbals and stuff. So I told him my problem, and he said, try this soap. Sam is still laughing at me, and you guys are probably going to laugh at me too, but I promise you, I have never felt something so luxurious as this soap. And my hair is, this is horrible lighting and stuff, but my hair is amazing. My hair is like silk. My scalp is super clean. Now, it is not shampoo. It is an all-natural soap made out of donkey milk. See there? That's the reaction Sam had. He was like, you're really gonna, you're joking? Like, this is really donkey milk? The guy said, no, I promise it's donkey milk. We have a goat milk. We have a so-and-so milk. He said, but the donkey one specifically for your hair. I said, let me try it. Oh my goodness. Wow. My hair smells amazing. My hair feels just luxurious. So had to throw that out there since we're talking about all the natural stuff. And I picked up some black seed oil. That's what helps with my allergies. I get clogged up right here, the pressure and the stuff really bad. So we grabbed some more black seed oil and bee pollen, all of my allergy stuff. And I'm clearing up pretty good. Pretty good.
Good. Donkey milk.
Great.
I use
donkey milk.
Yeah, I use goat milk soap because it's so good. It doesn't dry out my hands. So yeah, I have goat milk soap. So
yeah, he had that too. It was either or, but he said his wife specifically uses the donkey milk for her hair, and the goat milk is better for the skin. And I said, okay, let me try it. And I'll probably try the goat milk next time just to see how, which one works better for my hair. But, oh, man, I'm in love with the donkey milk. Yep. But it's thick like a shampoo when you put it on. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I lathered some in my hands, and I just went, I don't even wash the ends, just the scalp anyway. Just took the bar and would rub a little bit here and there. And, it's just thick, really thick, like a lotion soap. It was just amazing, amazing.
Well, I don't know. Do you know that I make soap? I make soap every year. I make a new batch of soap, right?
Yeah, we have talked about that a long time ago.
Yep, and I make soap for my whole body. So I make soap for my hair. It doesn't have donkey milk in it, but it has a lot of beautiful like shea butter and cocoa butter and I put in the kind of essences I like. I'm partial to rose, and
oh my gosh. Okay, I got this oil for my hair. I forgot about it until you said the rose oil, rose water. So it's argan oil with something else. It was just the 2 oils. But then we brought it home and I pumped 3 little pumps on after I washed my hair with my donkey milk. I pumped 3 pumps of the oil and put it in my hair, and you guys, I was in heaven for the rest of the evening. I put it all over Sam's hair, all over my hair. It has rose water in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just in love with the smell of rose water. Just heavenly.
I'm going to step out of the room for a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Did you remember, Alisha, what Morganne was saying about teeth? I forget to write down about teeth, what she uses and what you're using for teeth.
Coconut oil.
Only coconut oil. You're taking coconut oil in your mouth and just smashing around.
Well, I brush with it. So I'll put some on my toothbrush and then I'll brush, just like you would with regular toothpaste, but I'll squish it around in my mouth, swish it around for a while like a mouth rinse. I'll do that for several minutes before I spit it out in the end, because the longer it's in there, the more bacteria it kills. And now
and
also,
it really cleans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My teeth are white, really nice. I have no cavities. Yeah, my teeth are perfect. Peroxide. Do you guys have peroxide in the UK? I guess you do. We don't have it here in Turkey.
I don't know.
But when I'm in America, I just get peroxide and I'll squish it around in my mouth, the same thing. Now, peroxide actually kills cavities. That's how strong it is. Just be careful that you don't swallow it, but just keep it in your mouth for at least 2 minutes, and you can see all the bubbles around your gums, killing bacteria, killing the junk in your mouth. It kills tartar, it kills plaque, it kills everything, and just spit it out. And then I will rinse with water and do my coconut oil brush after the peroxide.
Are you talking about oil pulling?
Uh-huh.
I was asking about dental stuff, about teeth. How to look after teeth, really.
Yeah, oil pulling. That's coconut oil in the mouth. But I do it for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, okay.
20 minutes, and it pulls out bacteria and crud in the mouth, and you never want to swallow that. You want to make sure you spit that out. And
spit it all out. Yeah, because it's got all the junk in it.
Yep.
So I was going to ask you ladies a question, and it seems like I'm hearing this conversation is exactly what is on my mind today. I belong to a spiritual group on Facebook called Kundalini Awakening Group. And there's been several people asking this week, like, I hit a wall. I was feeling like I was ascending at one point, and now I'm just, I hit a wall. What can I do to go further? This, I believe, is one of the biggest things, is to clean your temple. And then I suggested to the one lady, I commented, service to self is the highest way to ascend. So, you don't have to, service to self, service to others. Hello.
Thank you.
Service to others.
Service to self.
I was listening, something went wrong. I was listening and Okay.
I know. Service to others. And I said, listen, it doesn't have to cost you any money. If you have an old woman that lives next to you, knock on her door once a week and ask her, can I pick you up some groceries? Or can I, if you know that the old man across the street from you can't do his yard work, take out his trash. Like, do stuff like that to bring positive energy into your life. But what do you guys think people can do when they've hit that spiritual plateau?
Do you want to answer that, Daiga, or do you want me to launch in?
Launch in.
Well, we'll go back to service to self for a second. We got to fill ourselves up. We have to take care of self. We have to love self. No, we don't have to. We can choose to love self. And it's important to do that so that we come from a full cup. So that when we are in service to others, we're coming from the fullness, not from our own depletion, right? So in some ways, that service to self has to be first so that we can fill self up, but it's for the purpose of not only filling ourselves up and helping us feel better and think better and all of that, but it's so that we can be full to give to others. So there's that piece. I just wanted to say service to self is not bad unless that's all we do. But it's important to have that component first so that we are rich in our own beingness. When we hit plateaus, that's always an interesting place because it's almost like the ego says, oh, you can't go any further. It's like, oh, this is it. This is it. And it truly is like this ego. I'll just call it the ego. It's that says, oh, you can't do anymore. You've gone as far as you can. You got to look at the words that you're using, or I'm so frustrated. I seem to have stopped. You got to look at what you're saying to yourself, because that will give you a clue on what your next step is. And it's important to acknowledge those steps where we're even at the plateau. The other thing about the plateau is enjoy where you're at. Be where you're at, accept where you're at. And in that, if we're always constantly pushing to go more, or go higher, or go deeper, or whatever it is, that may not be where we need to be. It may be that we just luxuriate in the place where we are, and see if there's anything other that needs to be released or let go. Just be present to where you are, rather than judging it. It's like we judge it. Oh, I've only gone this far. See, that's the ego, right? And so when we look at the ego in terms of our own movement forward in our own consciousness development, we have to pay really close attention to the ego because it's giving us clues about where we actually are. So if it's saying you can't go any further, I don't know what your people on that Facebook are saying, right? But you look at what they're saying and accept it. You can also do forgiveness work at that time, right? You can say, I forgive myself for putting a governor on my my development, or you can begin to work with it in a beautiful way. That ego is so tricky. It is so tricky because it wants to. It's convinced we're separate from our source self. And really, that's what ascension is, right? It's the absolute remembering and alignment with our source self. And I don't see it as like, dimensions. I don't see it that way. And I could be wrong. It's just not how I see it. I see it as a journey that we're going on, this exploration. They talk about the fourth dimension being about the emotions, right? And we can explore that. But the highest part of using emotions is how do you use the energy of those emotions to propel you? And so emotions, energy in motion. Is it emotion or is it stopped? So when they've reached that plateau, that energy and motion has stopped, right? So we look at where we are in our emotional nature. So if people are getting frustrated by the plateau, you look at what's underneath that. What's that frustration? It's not the plateau. It's the frustration that's keeping you from moving into a greater yet to be. But if you don't stop and just like be with it, you're not going to discover it. You try to pass by it, especially if it's not a good feeling place where you're at, right? You don't want to go there, but that's the juicy part. That trigger right there is your treasure, and you want to go there because it's asking you to forgive or heal or whatever that place is, but you don't want to bypass that. So reaching plateaus is a great place to be. And I'll say that it's a great place to be because you're going to learn a lot about yourself in terms of how you move, what holds you back, and all of that. I think celebrating the plateau would be important because it truly isn't about the plateau. It's about us. It's about our consciousness. It's about where our emotions are. So that's just my spin and my take on that.
As soon as you started talking, we're so used to the same habits of, I have to do this to get this. I have to do that to get this. I have to go here to get that. We don't have to do anything. There's nothing that we have to do.
That's programming.
It's very exhausting to always think I have to be doing something. I have to be achieving something. I have to, if you look at like going back to a religion or a program or something, it's about constantly having guilt. You're never doing enough. You're never good enough.
Yeah. I mean, look at that statement. I don't know if you got it when you were little, but I got it lots of times. Don't just sit there and do something. Don't just sit there and do something.
Yes. And I knew to never go to my parents and say, Mama, I am bored, because she was going to put you to work doing something.
That's right. Yeah.
Very nasty. At least if I say something like that, then I will get the nastiest jobs possible to do.
Right.
Yep. So it's the true consciousness for that would be just sit there and be. Just sit and be. We don't honor that aspect of who we are, but the ego is always trying to push us, keep us going, keep us moving, keep us going higher, keep us, don't sink down, right? Truly, if we just like stop, sit, and be for however long it takes, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it might take 5 minutes, it might take 5 weeks. Who knows? It doesn't matter.
We're always being set up for failure.
Or every time, especially when and that's what's the value of feeling those emotions, right? Like, what am I feeling when I've hit that wall? Am I frustrated? Am I angry? What is that? Right? Because that's your nugget. That's your golden ticket right there for healing. But people don't see it that way. What they do is they push it down. They push it down. They push it down and expect to ascend. It's like, duh. that puppy's coming back up again. It will come back up. And unless you work with it through release, ego release ceremonies or healing or prayer, it doesn't matter how you do it, but acknowledge it. I love forgiveness. That's forgiveness is the highest way of healing, in my opinion. It works so beautifully in releasing, especially for releasing anything I've held against self.
Yeah, I think forgiving ourselves is probably the very hardest of every person to forgive. Yeah. The hardest person to forgive is yourself.
Yeah. And one of the things that I do is I forgive my confusion, because we get confused. We get confused. I forgive my confusion. And I've taught that to several of my clients. And you can also forgive others' confusion, because everyone's confused.
Love and compassion. There's nothing else. Nothing else. And again, like you said, service to self. It has to be for yourself first.
Yep.
I was just talking to Sam earlier and I said, I feel bad, so and so. And he said, stop it. Don't feel bad. And it just kind of snapped me back. And I thought, yeah, that's true. I'm talking about something that already happened. Why am I even thinking about that stuff? Like, is
Good
it happening right
question.
now? No.
No. We are addicted to feeling bad. Humans are addicted to feeling bad.
Yes, we are.
Because a lot of us were raised to feel bad, to feel shame, to shame on you. We feel sorrowful. We feel all those things because we were told to feel those things. That's bullshit. It's just really, that's abuse, in my opinion, is to teach others to feel shame, to teach others to, it's like, it's not empowering. It's and it does not allow you to take personal responsibility. It just sucks you down. And if you were feeling that when you were a kid, that's going to come right back up. And that's those plateaus. You can't go up any higher. You can't go anywhere else until you deal with what's below that. What's lurking down there, and Daiga, that this so beautifully, because of that one piece of work we did where you were stuck. You could not, you were like, talk about a plateau. It was like a concrete highway, and you just kept, right? Mm-hmm. But what was below that? That's where we played. That's where we ferreted out what it was that wouldn't allow that gate to open. See, those are like those plateaus are gates. They open, and then you were able to rise. Like, that didn't even matter anymore. It's like, okay, that happened, but it's not affecting you anymore. So you got to deal with what's below the plateau. So share that with your group and help them understand that they got to deal with what's below. The plateau is a mirror for them to take a look at where they actually are.
Me and my daughter are working very progressively together on how to raise my granddaughter. We had a heartfelt talk. I don't know, probably, well, we have a lot of heartfelt talks, but anyway, one of the most recent ones was, we all the women in my family went through trauma. But my daughter thought that she had the worst life in the world, but then, I was a better mom than my mom. I thought that I had the worst life in the world, but then my mom was better than her mom. And then, she thought she had the worst life in the world, but she was better than her mom. Like, it's each generation, we're getting better and better at, being moms, at doing this thing. So now that my grandbaby, she's 3 years old, and she's really coming into her little personality, and she's just finding out who she is, she throws fits. She does really stupid stuff. She's a 3-year-old, right? And to where I just really didn't know how to deal with stress like that when I was raising my kids, because I had so much stress. Now we're working with a more, like I said, a more progressive route. Like, if she's throwing a fit, don't discipline her. We need to figure out, why is she throwing a fit? What is making her angry? And then we need to deal with her like you are not wrong in your feelings. You are not wrong with what you did. It might look ugly to me and Grace that she's flopping around like a fish and, acting crazy in the middle of the grocery store, but for her, she's relieving some kind of tension. Mm-hmm. And we have to just show her a different way to express herself.
Mm-hmm.
I never want to suppress her. I never want her to think that her voice doesn't matter. I never want her to think that she's wrong or she's stupid or she's bad. We've had to catch the way people talk to her. People's, oh, she's such a brat. Don't say that to her. Don't claim that on her. She's not a brat. She's 3. She's 3. 3 is the best time to be alive. Are you kidding me? You can wear non-matching clothes. You can, do whatever you want to at 3. It's a perfect time to be alive. But thinking back, all the stuff that I was told, all the stuff that I was taught, all the stuff that, and it's amazing how much baggage people put on other people. People can't suffer in silence. They never do. They have to take it out on somebody else. If they're angry, they have to lash out at you. If they're parents, grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, anybody, if they're angry, if they're ugly, they take it out on the weakest ones in the room, and those are the children. So
it's called power over.
Right.
Power over. And
right.
You can see that in so many different scenarios, but it always starts with that parenting thing. We learn to have power over because you have to respect that person that is throwing that wielding that sword of power over. And it gives people, and I saw this, I actually saw it play out beautifully, power over, with my 4-year-old granddaughter this weekend, when she has the gift of being able to boss everybody. It's a gift. I'm not kidding you. You can just watch her, how she does that. Well, we were at her other grandmother's house, and they have a swimming pool. So a bunch of people came over and we're all in the pool, but we've been in the pool for a long time, but she wasn't ready to get out of the pool. So you could watch her, how she would enroll people to get back in. And you could just watch it, right? We're talking about grown ass men that she just like reeled them back in, and they're all back in the pool with her. And I'm like, wow, watch. I go, you guys, you all have just been manipulated by a 4-year-old. It was hilarious. But you see how she learned that somewhere, right?
Right.
That. And she is mastering that, where she can command a whole room full of adults to do what her bidding. And it's funny and it's scary all at the same time, because what sword is she wielding, and what is it? So I'm going to go back to your granddaughter. A question that I asked, and I asked Amaya this weekend when she was trying to get everybody to stay in the pool. I said, honey, what do you need? I asked her, what do you need? And she goes, I need to play. I need to play. And I go, okay, then we'll find other ways to fulfill your need to play. And I said, how about we go back and we jump on your trampoline? How about we play the Frisbee? How about, it's like, like what she wanted, she did not want to let go of the play, the fun. And I get that, right? But she was manipulating everybody to make that happen for her, when she can create other ways to make that happen. So the big question I often ask is, what do you need? And a lot of people don't know the answer to that. They just simply don't know the answer to what do I need. So it's good to sit back and look at what do I need? What do I need in this moment? And then that takes you back to service to self. You have to serve self first. What do you need? You know, one of the things I had to do is I have a friend relationship, and I'm more understanding the dynamics of that relationship. But I had to call for a stop on the relationship, because how it felt to me was this. It was almost like an energetic cord hooking into me, and then just drawing out my energy through. And this person interrogates, and looks at your environment and go, where'd you get that? How'd you get that? I want one of those. Blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, it was this huge energy. And I just said, I'm taking a break from this relationship. And so I had to do that in a very diplomatic, loving kind of way. But it was truly about me. That one, I began to understand that interrogator victim kind of role. And I don't want to play that. So I got to forgive myself for my confusion.
Yeah.
on allowing someone to. So those are all those power over things, right? You learn those things when you're young, and you can either hone them, and you see grown ass people using those same, you know, she was throwing a hissy, would you say a hissy fit in the grocery store? I see grown people doing that. Like,
right. Oh
right?
my gosh. Especially in California, that's a trend now. The whole Karen thing, that's grown hissy fits everywhere.
Yep. And you see road rage, hissy fits. Like, somebody needs to look in the car and go, hon, what do you need? What do you need right now? Right?
Because, oh my gosh,
they're trying to get their need met in the best way possible. If all they got is a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old strategy, that's what's going to come out.
My sister just lost a friend from high school in a road rage incident. He was driving down the street. He just had a baby 3 months ago. He's in his, I don't know, 30s, 40s, whatever it is. I guess 40s. Yeah, they went to school together, 40s. And driving down the street, somebody got mad at him the way he pulled out in front of them, and they pulled out a gun and shot him dead right there on the street in his truck. Yep. Leaving a wife and a baby, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yep. Power over.
It's amazing how barbaric our people still are. We talk about ascension. We talk about, you know, going to other planets and ETs and this and that. We're barbarians still. We kill each other. There's billionaires on this side of the planet. There's starving children on this side of the planet. We're like animals still. Yep. We haven't learned anything after hundreds of thousands of years.
Well, you know, it's kind of a dilemma of what has happened. I mean, we are let's back up. We are a sacred spiritual self. We are spirit, right? That we are that. And then we get slammed into this human body. It's like, what the hell? What happened? You know, it feels like that sometimes, that, and you get, so we're in this real dilemma of being, you know, they talk about, you know, we're spiritual people having a human experience, right? Really think about that. We are sacred spiritual beings slammed into these human bodies and into human dynamics and to human relationships. And what is our job? Do we continue to foster the human animal aspect of our being, or do we lean more into that sacred spiritual? You know, and it's a dance. It's a movement. It's an exercise, right? Where we behave like barbaric humans, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, that's
right.
not my right.
Right, we're half animal, half God. It's a very strange dynamic.
Talk about transgender.
Very right.
Transhuman, yeah. So we live in a dynamic that, what are we here to do? Are we here to release our sacred spiritual self? I claim that we're here to bring heaven to earth. So it's to bring the sacred into who we are and what we are, and awaken us, not just me, waken up everyone, including those with those black hearts that, got terrible power over. Look at the pharmaceutical companies. Talk about power over our governments, power over. It's a theme, right? So if we see it, feel it, experience it, then it's our job to begin to release it from our own being, because if we see it, feel it, experience it, that means it's living inside of us. So that's where we get to do our big work, is that, oh, I see this, I'm experiencing this, I must offer forgiveness or healing to this experience in order to ascend, which just means going from that lower density experience of shame, blame, hate, anger, all that stuff, to be released from that, to go more into joy and bliss and peace and all of that. That's the ascension, right? And what's keeping you from that, the plateaus.
Right. I think it's like you said, I don't believe that there's dimensions. I think the dimensions are in our head, are in each individual person's reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. My neighbor next door could be living in the third dimension, and I'm right here across the hall. I could be living in the fourth or fifth dimension. Mm-hmm. It's really where you choose to keep yourself.
Yeah.
Like the two wolves, right? Whichever one you feed is the one that lives.
And that's right. Exactly. And that story really epitomizes that dilemma that we're in as human, seemingly separate from source, seemingly separate from everything, and the divine that we are, where we're fully connected, fully awake, fully aware. So that which do you feed? Which do you nurture? Which do you do? Some days we're way into that human stuff. Mm-hmm. We're acting it out, it's not going our way, and we're throwing temper tantrums and hissy fits, and, or we can choose at any moment to begin to nurture and feed the sacred spiritual part of ourselves by offering ourselves. You were talking about compassion. Forgiveness is the ultimate compassion. And forgiveness of self is the ultimate compassionate thing we can do for ourselves, to forgive ourselves for where we have leaned into the separation and into the mistakes and the egoic way. It's a dilemma.
Well, we have to stop seeing, and religious people are the best at this. We have to stop seeing ourselves as better than other people. And, you watch a story on the news, there was somebody killed so-and-so. And of course, you get these people, oh, how horrible. I could never. Yes, you could. We all could. We all could. Like, that takes the compassion out when you don't realize, just because you're a spiritual person, or just because you're ascended, or just because you're maybe think you're living a better life than other people, you're still a human. You're still on this planet, and it's a very thin line. Very thin line. Most days, I'm walking on the clouds. I spend time with my higher self. I'm eating right. I'm doing the stuff I need to do. But sometimes that animal can rage up in me too. And I can have thoughts of doing not nice things to people who are not nice to me. And why do I think that way? Because I think that I'm better than that other person, instead of realizing, hey, I've made people angry before and nobody beat me up. I've done so and so stuff. Like, we have to give each other more room to make mistakes. Just because people make mistakes doesn't mean they're lower than you, or doesn't mean they're not worth as much as you are. We're all the same. We all screw up. Every single one of us. All of us. And when we start understanding that about each other and realize that we're all the same animal, we'll get along a lot better. When compassion abounds, that's when love will follow. And that's when we will be more connected as a whole.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to this. We can exhibit and experience power over, that power over consciousness. It's really important to see where we allow power over us, where we have given up our authenticity, where we have given up our sovereignty, where we have given up our authentic selves. It's real. And where, when it is, and I'll give you an example. I have a son that I haven't spoken to for, I don't know, maybe 10, getting close to 10 years now. And it used to cause me exquisite pain when I would think about that, and when I would ruminate on that, because there was no opportunity to discover what my, if I did something, there was no way for, that was not an offering. There was no way I could come in and make amends if I did something. I don't know. I have no idea what happened, because that's never been shared with me, or if, that's just, it just is. Right.
But you needed validation to let it go.
Well, yeah, validation's a hook too, though, right? That's an egoic hook too.
Right.
But what was happening was that I was allowing my son's choices to affect who I am. Talk about allowing power over.
Yeah.
I got crippled in it. It was just like I became that worthless piece of worm that they talked about in the Baptists, a lowly worm am I. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I would allow that, and then, say, oh, I must be a bad mom because I couldn't keep my family together, and, and all of that. So, but those are just tricks of the ego. They truly are. And when you can identify where you allow people to have power over your feeling, your emotions, your mind, he's not doing anything to me. I'm doing it to myself. Right? But at any moment, I can choose, I forgive my confusion about this. I forgive his confusion about this. I forgive all of it. You just kind of move into it, so that can shift you, because all that feeling bad, all that's called punishment. Punishment. And we punish ourselves. And I said, we're addicted to pain. We are. We're addicted to punishing ourselves.
Yeah.
And therefore, then we punish others. It becomes, the kick the dog syndrome, I think they call it, where, the dad goes to work and he gets beat up by the boss. So he comes home and he kicks the dog. He yells at the wife, screams at the children. It's the same thing. It's just, he can evolve from, my boss is angry with me. Let me work on some forgiveness here. Let me come back into integrity here, before he went and perpetrated all of that on his family. But it's rampant in our world. It's just rampant. We wonder why we have frickin' wars. We have wars because we got them going on in our own minds and our own hearts. We're not going to heal war until we heal the war within ourselves. And that war between ourselves is the ego and the sacred self. That's the war going on, and it's the ego that perpetrated that war on us. So I'm done ranting.
Talking about ranting, I want to ask question about uh, dimensions we today talk about, yeah, but about linear time. That time is actually not as it is, no, as it seems
As it
is,
seems,
or
yeah.
as we've been told it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, time is linear. Can you help me understand how it is the past future is at the same line and spontaneously is happening at the same time?
Well,
I'm struggling with it.
Okay, so we got this thing called the past and the future, right? We got the past and the future. But what's in between them is the now moment, right? So in the now moment, is where we are at choice. So we'll talk about this, but I think you're talking about the time as a construct, and I'm going to get around to that. Okay, so here we are. We're in the present moment, but are you really in the present moment? Are you really?
Concentrating. If I'm really now concentrate, I am here. What
right,
I'm
you
thinking,
bring your
what I'm
awareness.
doing.
That's why when I start meditation, usually I say, put your focus on your feet. Bring your attention to your feet, because when you got your attention on your feet, it's like anchoring you into the present moment, right? But then you're going to watch yourself. Is something from the past pulling you? Something you did wrong? Something you need to do? So, or is the future pulling you? Is there, what do I have to do over here? Am I ready? Whatever, So the thing is, we don't stay anchored in the present moment now. So the past is over and the future hasn't happened yet. So all we got is the present moment now. But if we live on a construct, and I believe time as delineated as how we have it is a human construct. And I believe that's a human construct of control. And I'll just say that it's a human construct of control and manipulating our own energy so that we don't have access to the ebbs and flows of our own rhythms. We get again, we're slammed into these human bodies who live in a human construct of time, and not just time, but I want to use the word pressure. I don't know where that's coming from, but it's like this pressure we live under to live in that. So anyway, I won't go there, but looking at time as a construct, there's only the eternal now. That's all that exists. And what is it? So if we're making plans, if we're, got our mind map out about what we want to accomplish, that's on a timeline of the future. And so the thing is, we create in the present moment now. So can you create the future from the present moment now? Absolutely, because that future is going to be your eternal now at some point in time, right? But there we go. We got time. We're always manipulated by that time, but where you create it is in the present moment now. I don't know if that helps your question, but that's
it's a little bit clearer. Let's say
think about time like a fishbowl. So when was 1457? Now. When was 12 AD? Now. It's all happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, Source looks down and he sees a road. Okay, well, this is what has happened already. This is what has not happened already. He sees everything, like looking at a fishbowl. It's the future, it's the past, it's the present, everything is all happening at the same time. So if you think about it, if you think about like quantum physics, and you start talking about wormholes and stuff like that, how can we time travel? Because the past is now also.
Yep.
If you get caught in the right wormhole, if you get caught in the right what's the word, like there's all kinds of parallels of time.
Altitude and something.
Yep, like a portal.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you
portal.
could immediately go into the past right now. You could immediately go into the future right now. Well, how? If those times are gone or if they don't exist yet, how could we possibly get there? But just because we can't see 9 BC doesn't mean it's not happening right now. We just can't see it because we're in this part of the fishbowl. We're in this part of the aquarium. But it's all going at the same time.
Yep. We are time machines. Each of us are a time machine. And you know that because we can so easily go into the past and we can so easily experience what was happening in the past. We can also project ourselves into the future, right? So that's what a time machine does, right? So we are the ultimate time machine. We can go in and look at the future from where we are now in consciousness and take a look at that and go, if I continue this same way, if I be this same way, this is what's going to be in my future. So you can take that information and you can come back to the now moment and reintegrate yourself into the truth, into the highest aspects of being, and then walk into the future and see how that plays out. So we can use that technology. We are a highly complex time machine that can change, can amplify our future. We can also amplify and change our past by using forgiveness. So we are the ultimate time machine. And you're right, it's all happening simultaneously. There's no distinction in that. It's all happening now.
And time doesn't exist. It's only a construct of the matrix.
Yep.
So another thing that just came to my head is, if I go to the mall right now, if I go to the theater, I can see Little House on the Prairie in theater 1. I can see Back to the Future in theater 2. I can see Troy in theater 3. I can see Aliens or Prometheus or something, right? They're all on different timelines. They all happened at different times, but depending on what theater I go to is what I see. That's kind of how I see that. And again, time is fake. What happened 1,500 years ago, that was fake. What's happening in the future, as long as it's on time, it's fake, because time doesn't exist in the universe. It's only the picture that the matrix is showing us for the experience that we have to have at this time in our reincarnation.
Okay, on this lovely note, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is lots of things to think about. Morganne, do we have time for quick meditation or not today?
Let's do a very quick one just to get anchored in the present moment. How about that? Okay, everybody, let's start. Okay, get your feet. I have to uncross my legs here.
I'm standing now, so.
Oh, good. Get your feet
anchored.
Oh, take a breath in. Put your attention on your feet. Feel your feet. Feel the energy in your feet. Can you feel the bottom of your feet? Can you feel any tingling or energy in the bottom of your feet? Just put your attention there. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. No judgment, just a question. Take a breath in. Are your toes all hitting the floor? Can you feel your toes and your heel? Bring your awareness to your feet and where you are anchored in. Are you on a floor? Are you on a ground? Be in awareness where your feet are. Now just bring in a total awareness of your body. Anchored in to this body, your legs, your buttocks, your belly, your torso, your arms, your neck, your head. Just check in on that body. We call it the body temple. But do you treat it like a temple? Just a question, not a judgment, just a question. Take a breath in. Bring your awareness to your body temple. Maybe greet it for the first time today. Hello, body. And I call it a body temple because what resides in your body temple is your soul and your spirit. Take a breath in. And the purpose of this is to get centered in this present moment now. And for a moment, we're going to just sit in the present moment now. But in just 1 minute, I want you to think about, are you still in the present moment now? Or is an energy pulling you into the past? Or is there an energy pulling you into the future? Take a breath in. Present moment now. Where's your attention? What thoughts are pulling you away from the present moment now? Just take note of that. Are you being pulled into the past? Or are you being pulled into the future? From this present now place, you can choose. If the past is pulling you, you can ask the past, what do you need? And maybe you'll get an answer if you stay focused on what was pulling you into the past. If you were being pulled into the future, ask your future self, what do you need? Let your future self answer you. And then come back to the present moment. And bring back that information from either the past or the future, what your past self needs, what your future self needs, and satisfy that in the present moment. Maybe you need more self-care. Can you offer yourself more self-care? Maybe you need more self-love. Can you offer yourself more self-love? Take a breath in. Thank your past and your future selves. And then just bring your attention to this present moment. One more time. To your feet, to your body, to your sacred soul self, to your spiritual self. Just anchor them into this present moment. Allow them to be present as I now offer this prayer of inviting in now the Holy Spirit into our hearts to help guide us to stay in the present moment. Inviting in the Holy Spirit to cleanse and heal anything left in the past. To be present in the Holy Spirit as our future unfolds like a beautiful flower. And I invite the Holy Spirit into not only my heart, but into my mind, to strengthen my mind and my decisions and my will to do the will that is highest and best for myself. And then in the filling of those needs and desires of the self, to be fully awake and aware so that we may then offer from the fullness of ourselves to others more love, more compassion, more peace. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for being present here with us this day as we have these conversations that bring us more to ourselves, to our authentic being, to our true self. Take a breath in. And we let it go, knowing that the Holy Spirit is always present with us. And we let it go, knowing that we are anchored in our present moment now. And from this place, we evolve, we bloom, we blossom. And so it is. Amen.
Okay, but we lost Alisha Ann.
Yeah, we did. It's okay.
Oh, thank you, Morganne.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Morganne, if you hear us. Thank you. Thank you, everybody who is watching us and who will be watching us. Please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube video channel. And from our hearts to yours, God bless